Hey guys, it's day 50 for me on the carnivore diet. It's technically my day 50 carniversary, I guess. I kind of stole that from some other people on the internet. Sorry. But anyway, yes, day 50. I would like to announce that it is doing really, really well for my autoimmune disease and my joint pain and my inflammation and just overall health. It is amazing. It is the best thing that I've ever done as far as diet changes and anything else for that matter. A couple of things in this video that I would like to discuss today. I'd like to go over histamine intolerance. I would like to cover some of the food experiments that I've done in the last 2 weeks and the results from those and the types of foods that I tried, and also why I think I might be becoming a vampire. Yeah. Alright, so I know a lot of people are familiar with histamine intolerance, but for those of you who aren't, histamine itself, usually people think of allergies when they think of histamine or an antihistamine like Benadryl or something like that. Histamine is actually a neurotransmitter, and it helps transmit messages to the brain, and it also helps with triggering stomach acid in your digestive system. So if you have a histamine intolerance, or you're eating a lot of high histamine foods, there's a chance that you could be seeing some things that resemble a food allergy when it's actually not exactly a food allergy, it's more of a histamine intolerance. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just kind of giving you the rundown of what I know of. If you want to consult more about this, I would definitely talk to a functional medicine doctor or even your normal doctor if you think you might have an issue like this after watching this video. I myself am under the suspicion that this is one of my problems, just based off of some of the foods that I have issues with, lately especially, and the fact that I do have a problem with low stomach acid. Histamine intolerance symptoms. They can be anything from diarrhea, headache, flushing of the face and chest, rash, hives, eczema, irregular heartbeat, low blood pressure, wheezing when you're breathing, runny nose, watery eyes, and facial swelling, typical kind of allergic symptoms. Still, again, it may not be an allergy that you're having. This could be something that's happening to you instead. So, oh yeah, itching, itchy skin. That's a big one. I forgot about that one. And like I said before, this happens when people have low stomach acid or decreased production of DAO, which is diamine oxidase. This is something that is needed in order to produce the proper amount of stomach acid in your stomach. There are supplements that you can take, and there are certain foods that you can eat that will help out with this, but there are also certain foods that you can eat that will make things worse. So again, I'm on the carnivore diet, day 50. I'm super happy about that. I wanted to specifically say that my symptoms have improved by 85%. Hands down, 85% of my joint inflammation, my brain fog, just my sleep patterns, my skin, just everything has improved tremendously, and it just seems to be getting better and better every day, and I am so grateful that I actually found something that's actually working for me. On the downside of things, it seems like if I stray too much from this diet and try new things, I have a heck of a time. So the carnivore diet bonuses, benefits. Number one, you want more energy, less anxiety, more mental clarity, smoother skin. You're sick of your blood sugar going up and down. You're sick of being hangry, and you want to lose a bunch of weight. Try it. If you don't want any of those things, then definitely don't try it, because it's not going to help you. One thing that I had mentioned in a previous video is that I have lost quite a bit of weight, 25 pounds, since changing my diet, which originally wasn't the carnivore diet, but eventually it turned into the carnivore diet, which now, it's been about 6 months since I really started altering the way that I was eating. So 25 pounds in 6 months, that's kind of a lot of weight, especially for someone who's, kind of naturally thin to begin with. So what I did a couple of times was I kept dairy, and basically I kept animal products in my diet, and I only ate things that were animal products. So I did eat eggs, bacon, just red meat, butter, and cheese. But that's why I'm kind of talking about the histamine intolerance thing now is because I've noticed that all of a sudden I'm having a lot more issues with dairy, and I'm planning on removing it again. Oh, sour cream. Yeah, I was doing sour cream, which is also fermented, which is also not a good idea if you have histamine intolerance. So anyway, I'm going to remove dairy, eggs, butter, sour cream from my diet again, even though I had it in there so that I could gain some weight. Unfortunately, I think it's having some other effects that I'm just not liking, and I was doing much better on just the straight beef, water, lard, and bone broth, and that's what I'm going to end up going back to, I think, for the next 30 days. But anyway, so a couple of things that I tried. The first thing was avocado. Now, before the carnivore diet, I just loved avocados and guacamole. Honestly, if you had asked me what I wanted to eat for the rest of my life and I could only pick one thing, it would have been avocados or guacamole. That was my thing. I tried an avocado about 2 weeks ago, right after I made my last video actually, and you know, it was alright. I remember that when I first tasted it, I went, these don't taste as good as I remember them. And that's another thing about the carnivore diet is your taste buds will change. I noticed the first time that I tried sour cream, shortly, I think it was about 30 days into the carnivore diet, I tried sour cream, I just took a little taste of it just to see, and it was really, really sweet, almost sugary to me, so that was interesting. So anyway, my taste buds have definitely changed. The avocado was fine. I ate it. Nothing happened. It wasn't as delicious as I thought it was going to be, so I don't miss them as much as I thought in my mind. So that's kind of a good thing in a way. I was kind of hoping that they would work out a little bit better than they did, because the next day I had the worst stomach ache when I woke up in the morning, and I had the worst time going to the bathroom the next morning. I really don't want to be too specific, but avocados are soft going in and they're like razor blades coming out now. And I don't really want to have to do that again, so I'm going to stay away from those. The next thing I tried, I automatically knew it was going to be a bad idea, but I did it anyway. And, okay, so chocolate chip cookie. So I work at a vet clinic, and if you bring your pets to the vet, or if you've had any experience with a veterinary clinic, you may know that when around the holidays especially, or when something significant happens, or even just on a Tuesday, somebody will give us donuts or cookies or pastries or just something, and we're always getting some kind of delicious goodness full of sugar and just all those things that I shouldn't be eating. Pretty much, once, twice, maybe 3 times a week we're getting stuff like this. Just sitting in the break room, just staring at you. And, I'm usually pretty good with willpower, and I have a little bit of a sweet tooth, not so much anymore, but I've always been able to say no. And this particular day, I guess I just hadn't had a chocolate chip cookie in a really long time, and I wanted it, and it was nice and warm, and it was from Tiff's Treats, which is my favorite place to get a chocolate chip cookie from, and so I ate it, and it was good. It was really good. It was. Problem is, my stomach didn't like it. Neither did my joints. All in all, I suffered for that one. The next day, oh yeah, that night, I had the worst cramps in my calves. I had to get up 2 or 3 times and just stand there and put pressure on my feet and drink a bunch of water and just pray that these cramps would go away. They were brutal. I haven't had cramps like that since I was like 14 years old, like from sports. So that was insane. And then the next day, of course, my digestion was all screwed up. Not nearly as bad as with the avocado, but it was still bad. A thing I wanted to mention is avocados are extremely high in histamine, as is chocolate. So that might have had something to do with it, but I'm sure it had, other ingredients too that definitely weren't working for me and that my body just wasn't used to. And then the next thing I tried was this cold brew coffee. I'm not much of a coffee drinker. I maybe drank coffee like once or twice a month, and I could never drink more than like 2 cups at a time. It would always make me shaky, nauseous, jittery. Just overall, I just never felt really good if I drank more than a cup of coffee. It smells really good, it tastes really good, it just doesn't react very well with me. So I don't get along very well with the Starbucks junkies because they just don't understand why I don't like coffee. I don't really think that's necessarily coffee anyway. It's more like a milkshake with coffee in it, but whatever, to each their own. You guys like Starbucks? Good for you. I'm saving myself quite a bit of money by not being addicted to Starbucks, so I'm happy about that. Anyway, this is just a local grocery store cold brew coffee. Just comes in a little thing like this. It only supposedly has cold brew coffee, sugar, and mocha flavoring in it, and this was a nightmare. I took 10 sips of it. 10. There's still some in here, actually. You can't see it, but there's like 3/4 of a bottle left here, and it's been sitting here for like 3 days in my fridge. But I just saved it just to show it. I don't know why. Anyway, I took 10 sips of this stuff, and I felt like I was high on cocaine. I mean, like, insanely high. Like, I was like, like freaking out and like looking out the window and got pacing and sweating, and felt like I was going to throw up, and I finally had to go make a hamburger patty and eat that just to calm myself down, because that's another thing about the carnivore diet and meat, is if you have anxiety, meat totally helps calm your nerves. And I don't know what it is about that, but it really does help calm you down and just make you feel just... And you don't get that from a salad. You don't get that from a bowl of pasta. You tend to feel a little jittery afterwards. At least I do. Only I was always hungry after a salad. So, anyway. Okay, so... Didn't enjoy the coffee. That didn't work. Let me see what else. Oh yes, the vampire thing. So on the carnivore diet, when I first started out, I've always eaten meat, but except for short periods of time when I went vegan or vegetarian, very short stints, less than a year in most cases at a time. I did it several times, but never more than a year straight. I always ate my meat medium to medium well. I was real weird about having it pink or having the blood come out of it. I always thought that was creepy, and I just didn't want anything to do with that. Well, that's changed. All of a sudden I've decided that I like my meat rare to sometimes medium rare, depending on what kind of cut I'm dealing with and what mood I'm in. I've noticed that lately I really like my steaks, the rarer the better. It just tastes better, and it just seems to digest better and just makes me feel better. So this leads me to the next thing about the vampire connection. I tried garlic stuffed green olives. That was my last food experiment, because that was another one of my absolute favorite things to eat. I ate them daily for years. Anytime they were at the grocery store, I would grab them. I would eat, at least 5 to 10 a day. Never had a problem with them. Loved them to death. Unfortunately, they were the biggest nightmare I have ever experienced so far. I don't know if it was the vinegar on the olives or if it was the garlic, but I immediately got a rash all over my face. My eyes started watering. My nose was running. My stomach was hurting. I was cramping. Just every possible thing that could go wrong went wrong, and it was within 20 minutes of eating these garlic stuffed olives, and I just couldn't believe it. So I gotta stay off of those things, I guess, which is sad. So my 3 favorite things that I really, really enjoy outside of being on the carnivore diet, I can't eat anymore, at least not until my gut's healed a little bit better. So that leads me to believe that, I got a little bit of histamine intolerance going on as well, because after I did those food experiments, I ate some eggs the next day, and I don't know if maybe it was residual from the garlic, but the eggs made me react as well, and I've never reacted to eggs before. So I'm cutting eggs out of my diet, like I said. I'm cutting cheese out. I'm cutting butter out, and I'm only going to use, for the next 30 days, I'm doing lard, chicken bone broth, whatever red meat, and water. And I'm going to try to get myself back to normal. And again, my symptoms are still really, really down. It just, when I start eating things that I haven't been eating in a while, or things that might be a little bit iffy or scary, for my autoimmune disease, that is. I'm not eating like stuff that's been sitting around on the counter for like 4 days. That's not what I mean by scary. Olives are scary. Garlic stuffed olives are very scary. Probably have nightmares about them tonight. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do for the next 30 days, go back to beef and water, and then after that I'm going to do some research and see if I can find something that just might work a little bit better. I'm still trying to find, other than lard, a way to get more fat in my diet, because, I mean, lard's great, but you can't eat it by the spoonful. Well, you can, but I don't know why you'd want to. So that's about it for now, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, you can hit me up in the comment section. If you want to